Hello and welcome to 66 Days to Success. I'm Jeff Ondash, and today we've got a show that you are not going to want to miss. In the past, we've talked a lot about setting goals and things you want to accomplish. We're going to take a little bit of a diversion today. We're going to be doing an interview with a young lady, Brenda Rider. I cannot tell you, she is the most inspiring person I have ever met in my life. The story she's going to tell you, the things that she has overcome, and the things that she's accomplished in her life are just absolutely incredible. I'm not going to go on any further than sit back and enjoy this interview because you are really going to love Brenda Rider and the story that she has to say about her foundation, A Way with Words. This is an incredible young lady and an incredible story. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this. And welcome back to 66 Days to Success, and I am here with Brenda Rider, and you are in for a tremendous treat. This is going to be a very special interview about a very special lady who's overcome some obstacles and with wit and wisdom and everything that you have to offer. So let's just get right into it, Brenda. Now, you grew up in Austintown.
Yes.
And you went to Austintown Fitch, graduated, and you wanted to be a police officer.
Yes.
So you went to Youngstown State and got your law enforcement degree?
Yes, and then worked at Austintown Police Department for a number of years.
But also you had another love in your life, and that was music.
Absolutely.
And you started playing guitar at 10 years old.
Yes.
And how did you learn how to play guitar, Brenda?
Well, Glenn Campbell taught me how to play.
Glenn Campbell taught you. He came to Austintown to
He
see
did.
you?
He did at least once a week, and I think it was like Wednesday night or something.
There's the magic of
television.
Yeah, that box that we
That
had.
box, and what would happen was back then with the TV cameras, they would just lock on the one performer. So it was really easy to sit and mimic somebody doing what they did because, they weren't showing back and forth between this hand, this face, that face, So you got the whole song. So I would sit there and mimic what he was doing and taught myself how to play guitar.
Wow. Just by that?
By that.
And then at some point, did you take lessons?
No.
You never took a lesson?
No.
So you actually learned by watching Glenn Campbell on TV. Never took a lesson. And you could play guitar just as well as anybody else? And you know all the notes, and can you read music?
No, I can't read music.
You just play by
ear.
Wow.
Yeah, and
I'd
listen to radio and records and stuff like that.
And you could mimic that
and chord
song?
it, yeah, and then mimic it and do it.
Wow, that is absolutely
lucky.
amazing. So you have a gift there that because I can't sing, I can't dance, and I sure the heck can't play guitar either.
I can't cook.
Glenn Campbell didn't come to my house, so he picked you. So you're going along, you're playing guitar now. Were you in bands? And I know you like to sing too, right?
Yeah, I was in concert choir with most of the kids in Austintown. That we still are in touch with different functions that we do, which is awesome. And I had the church choirs and the church folk groups and the folk mass at Immaculate Heart of Mary in Austintown. And I still stay in touch with some of those people too, which is pretty neat. But it's like once music gets into you, it's like it's something you can do and go away for a while and come back and go away. And it's for a lot of people a wonderful hobby. For the lucky people, it's their job. And that's fantastic. And it's never going to be my job because I'm just not that good, but I do love to play and do love to write.
Sure.
And
Glenn's
whatnot.
still proud that you're one of his better students that he never
there
knew.
you go. That he never knew about. Yep.
So we had talked when I introduced the show. I talked about you and how you faced adversity in your life and how you have taken a bad situation and turned that around and fought very hard, defeated it, and moved on into another area. So we're going to go right into that.
Okay.
You were about 37 years old.
Yes.
And you were diagnosed with breast cancer.
Yes.
You had no breast cancer in your family, no history like that, and all of a sudden this just hits you from out of the blue. And what are your first thoughts when that's said to you? I can't imagine what I would think if.
Well, it was kind of a fluke as to how it came about. a friend of mine was 50 at the time, and she had never been for a mammogram. And she was gun shy to do it and whatnot. And I said, oh, it's no big deal. I said, I'll go with you. I said, I'll even go first. And that's the only reason.
Had you had one before that?
No.
So this was your first one?
This was my first, and I only went because she was too chicken to go. And so I went with her, and that's how mine was diagnosed, was from the mammogram. And so they did me and put me in the hall and kept going back and forth. And after several of those, they said, okay, we're going to call your doctor and you'll get the results. So the doctor calls the next day and he says, I made an appointment with the surgeon and you have to go see him. So I went to see him and he throws the scan up there and he says, I'm 99% sure this is malignant. And being the intelligent person I am, I said, is there such a thing as a good malignancy and a bad malignancy? And he goes, no, they're all bad. I said, oh, well, what are we going to do? And so at that point, I still hadn't sunk in. It was just you need new tires on your car. Let's fix that. And that's kind of the way I approached it. It's just something that has to be fixed. And so that's what I took it into. And of course, I had a tremendous support group and friends and kids, and it was amazing.
But your malignancy was not. There's not a good or bad.
No, it was all bad.
But it was really bad.
It was really bad.
And they really diagnosed you that you probably weren't supposed to make it through this.
No, I wasn't supposed to make it through.
And they said, what, 6 months?
6 months. And I said, well.
Now, when did you find that out?
That was May 13th, 1999.
Okay, but from the start of it, when you saw the surgeon, was it in a very short period?
They did surgery 2 days later because they had to stop. Here's one of the weird things with this was I had, out of the blue, a blood clot in my leg. And I was walking up the steps and I had a Charlie horse all of a sudden. So I went to my family doctor and he goes, oh, you have a blood clot, and sent me to the hospital to get it checked out. And here I come to find out that the certain type of breast cancer throws off blood clots as warning signals that your body is in need of something and it's fighting something. Well, the blood clot, we dissolved and took care of, and it was a couple weeks after that I went for that mammogram, and that's how it was found.
Oh, so you actually had a warning and you didn't even know
Didn't even know what it was
Wow.
for, and so that once they stopped the Coumadin, they scheduled the surgery immediately and did what they had to do, and then I just went bing, bang, boom. There was no time to really think or be upset about it.
But when they diagnosed you as having 6 months to live, was that before the surgery or after the surgery?
That was after the surgery.
Wow.
And,
so that is not good news when you're coming out of
No.
something that difficult, and then now you have to face this. So what was your plan? Now they tell you this, Brenda, you've got maybe 6 months to live.
I'm not telling anybody. I said, what happens, happens. But if I was truly going, I figured that was one man's opinion. And not that that's a bad thing, but sometimes, there are other powers that be. There are other forces in line. There are other medications coming out. And I'm not one to run all over the country to find the right thing. But I always figure what's going to happen is going to happen. And you just make the best of it. And sure enough, certain drugs came out at the time and certain, stuff that I signed up to do for experimental and whatnot, they did, and it worked. It really worked.
But now this was not a short-lived process that you went through, too. You went through some hell for a while.
It was bad.
How many months of chemo?
I had 8 rounds of chemo, 34 radiation treatments.
Oh, my.
And it was different. And then I had all the different side effects that you have, the 1% things that, happen. I have lymphedema in my arm that swells up, and you can't be as functional with it as you could be.
And this was during the treatment?
Yeah, the treatment, and even today. I don't have, as much use of it, like swinging a hammer or something to that effect that I.
You still play guitar?
I still play guitar,
Okay.
but I have to be kind of limited with what I used to be able to do and what I can do.
No, taking it over your head and smashing it when you're done
No,
playing.
it's hard to run.
Kick back a little bit.
Run some riffs, but it is what it is. It'll be fine.
But that wasn't it. You had the surgery, and you're taking your chemo and you're taking your radiation, and then there was something else that happened because of the radiation.
Well, the radiation, they ended up. Things have gotten much better now because everything's a little more pinpointed. But during the radiation part, they ended up closing one of the arteries to the heart. So I had 2 heart attacks. And so they had to go in and, open it up and put a stent in, and that was cool. But
That was cool? That was cool.
It was really cool that they could do something that simple, that quick, and you felt that much better. It was amazing.
Yeah, I've heard that, because the flow of oxygen that you're not getting makes you tired. Once that opens back up, it's like, wow.
Yeah, it's like
feel
getting
brand
plugged
new
in.
again.
I mean, it really is. It's amazing,
But this was the byproduct. So the radiation actually closed this artery. The
Yeah.
radiation treatments closed it, and you had a heart attack.
I had a heart attack.
I want you to share the story of where you had this heart attack at.
Well, I actually had one on driving, and I was going on 680, and I could feel my arm go numb, and my jaw hurt, and I'm sweating, and so I called 911 and on my cell, and I just pulled off the road and waited to see if I needed to actually call for help or if it was going to pass, and it passed, thankfully. And then
But it was a heart attack.
it was a heart
It was a
attack.
heart
I didn't
attack.
know it was a heart attack. I just called them little episodes. And
Just a little episode.
just a
That's
little
all. Just
episode.
small episode.
Yeah, just a little thing. And so then later I was bowling in a bowling league, a couple days later, and during the evening, it happened again. And I sat on the bench waiting because the man in the league next to us had a 300 game going, and I didn't want to disturb him.
Oh, of course not. Why, little thing like a heart attack upset his 300 game.
We took it serious. Then we'll talk. At this point, it's just an episode.
Just an episode.
So at that point, I'm sitting there and I'm soaked and I can't breathe, and this lady
Waiting for this man to finish his bowling
his
game.
game so I could get
So
out.
please hurry up.
Yeah, this is killing me. But anyways,
You are something, Brenda.
but after that, the next day I did go and see about it, and I was good.
So
They
they did
fixed
take
it.
you that night, and that's when they found out you needed this stent.
Yeah, needed
so
the
now
stent.
you've gone through breast cancer, and now you've gone through 2 heart attacks, which were byproducts of the breast cancer, and a
Yes.
couple little side effects along the way.
Right.
And you made it all the way through that. You have such a wit and such a different way of looking at it that you.
Well, it was only cancer. I mean, it could be worse. I
And
could
what
be
could it-
married. I mean, come on. This could be really tragic. There's happy endings in every story. You just gotta look or wait for it.
Even in marriages?
Well, that I wouldn't know about.
So you've gone all the way through it, and now it had to be hell at times, though. I know
It was.
you're joking about it, and that's great that you could find a humor. I've always heard that in any situation, no matter how dire it is, you always want to look for that silver lining, because humor and laughing does help get you through it, and your attitude
does.
must have really, really been something that got you through this horrific event. I mean, somebody telling
was
you that
something.
you had 6 months to live, and you beat it. That's amazing. So you did have a good support group,
Oh, tremendous.
and you had a lot of friends praying for you and helping you out, and thankfully you're still here because you're not done yet. You have other things that you do. Now,
I have other stuff, yeah.
Music is your love, and are you still a police officer?
Well, I work for the city of Youngstown. I'm a bailiff, outside service bailiff for the city of
So
Youngstown.
you go out and serve
people and talk to people.
So if I ever see you on my porch, I'm not opening the door. I know now. Nobody's home. Go away.
There you go.
So you're still in law enforcement, but you still are involved in music, because after this, you found that you had another calling, that you started a foundation.
Right.
And this is really, really unique. And what was the name of this foundation?
The name of the foundation is Away with Words Foundation. And it was mostly, the reason I named it that was I always wrote poetry and poems when I was a kid all the way up to, now. And when I would, write it and give it to someone, they would read it and be just, struck with it. And they'd say, oh, you have such a way with words. And it was like, that kind of stuck to me. And it wasn't just one person saying this, was like several people. And I thought if I ever did something, I'd probably call it that, because I'm sure I'm not the only one that has a way with words. And since then I have met some very awesome survivors and caregivers and people who are just genuinely thoughtful and caring people that
There's a lot of good people on this planet.
there's some bad ones, but there is a majority that is still very good and very kind, and they have a way with words. And so I asked them to write books or to write poetry and then submit it to me, and then we would publish a book. And so then, since we started, we've published 3 books.
Wow.
And the first one was There's Hope in What We Do. And that was the first one. And that was always been my line at the end of the one song that it started this whole thing with the kids choir and all that was there's hope in what we do. You know, it's all the things that we do that make somebody's life better. You know, that make our life better, that makes, you know, the neighbor better, just, you know, shoveling their drive or whatever, little things. And the second one is the gift of giving. You know, we're all blessed with certain things that we're good at, and but it's only a gift. You know, it's not a gift till you give it away. And so you have to use those gifts to better yourself and better the world around you. And then the third book was The Blessings of Survivor and Friends, which is kind of my quirky book that kind of is my thank you for all that everybody's done. Because, you know, that's where all my little one-liners come into and whatnot, because, you know, it is a way of surviving and just, you know, giving people a chance to laugh, to cry, to do whatever they need to do to get through this.
And you have the choir is very unique. Please tell the audience about the choir. This is
kind
really
of different. When I was in treatment at the time, it was Northside Hospital, and that's when Todd's Children's Hospital was still right next to it. And I was sitting there waiting for my time to go up and see the doctor. And I looked up at the windows up there, and I thought, you know, there's kids in that building. I said, they could be bald like me. They could be as big as, you know, a balloon in a Macy Day parade like I was from the steroids. Yeah, they have to blow you up to keep you going. And there's a, you know, and I said, what if I was, you know, 13? I'd be crushed, as, you know, a lot of them were. So I went up to visit them. And that was before HEPA and all the different rules where you couldn't, and they all knew me from different things, but I got to talk to the kids, and, you know, with the music is, it's something you can do yourself, or it's something you can do with several other people and, you know, hundreds of people. And it makes it a really nice team sport, so to speak, because some of these kids cannot do the sports like they used to while they were going through treatment. And so this gives them a chance to be a family and to be a team and to be whatnot. So ROCK, which is ROCCK, and I make it capitals all except for the second C, because it means raising our commitment to cancer kids. And cancer, I wanted it to be a small part of their life, so I made it the small letter. And it means, you know, so much to so many kids, because the kids are ages 2 to 18. And what's kind of cool about it is now, since we've been around for so long, I have kids that are grown up and married and have kids of their own, and now they're coming into the choir.
And these are kids that had cancer and have beat cancer and have, wow, that's just...
Yeah, and it's not only those.
That is just an incredible story.
Yeah, it's not only the kids that are sick, it's their siblings, because a lot of times they get put on the sidelines because little Johnny or whatever's sick, and all the focus has to go to getting him well. So they kind of get put on the sidelines. What the choir did was bring all these kids in and let them feel a part of their treatment and part of their healing and part of, you know, getting him through this. And so it was wonderful. And then other part of that was anybody that's been touched by cancer. So if grandma had cancer or grandpa, you know, it's my way of helping. And we did all the Relay for Lives and, you know, all the events in the area. So that
and you went to perform there.
Oh,
correct?
Yeah, we would perform between 60 and 80 shows a year, you know, and it was so amazing with the kids. Just, well, like I said, we were just one giant family, and the parents were just as attached to each other, and the kids as we all were with each one, and it was phenomenal. And then it's kind of, as it kind of got older here, my baby kids, my little kids, Little Rocks, grew up, and they're graduating high school and into college and got jobs and, you know, moving on with their lives, which is what I wanted, you know. And now I have to, you know, bring on the other little kids and get them. And it's a little tougher with all the rules and regulations for kids and HEPA and, you know, which is fine. You know,
but it's still moving in. How many years have you done this? How long has it been?
Well, this has been 16 years with the kids. And
It's phenomenal.
It's the best thing ever. And it's like we just sang,
they-
got
they-
together and sang about a month ago, and we had a blast. It was like nothing changed.
Now, do you have performances coming up anywhere? Or?
No, we kind of had to limit that because I couldn't get enough kids there at any single time. Because like I said, a lot of them have jobs. They
Yeah.
have, different type of obligations that they have to see about in school. And it was getting harder and harder to get them together. So
So you
I
kinda
have to wait
like-
for my
like
next generation.
Rock reunions then, and get
Yes.
together and sing and just have a good old reunion time.
There you go. That's what
That
we'll
is
do.
absolutely amazing. I can't even imagine the joy you get from that when you see those kids.
Oh,
That's
it's
gotta be
phenomenal.
immense.
And the thing about it is, I write all the songs that the kids sing. The reason I did that was a couple main reasons. One, I didn't want to pick a song that everybody knew, and then I'd have to play royalties to that song,
Yeah.
or have people say, "Well, that's not how the song goes," or and make the kids feel bad. Because I didn't want anybody to say, "Well, you sang the wrong words there. I know the different," So I read all the songs, and I wanted it to be age appropriate, and I wanted it to be our mission statement, appropriate as far as like, we're survivors and we're special, and we're proud to be survivors, and it's a big deal. And so the kids, we write all the songs and recorded them all, and it's amazing. It's just such a cool thing.
That's beyond amazing. I got like goose pimples all over me right now just thinking about what you've done. And it really is. I think everybody has a gift to give to somebody, and you obviously have found what your gift is, and God bless you. That is just an
very lucky.
amazing. Lucky, but you had enough within yourself to go out and give that gift. A lot of people don't do that. They hold back from it, and that's a shame because
It is.
It is because we only get such a short time on this rock. We don't know how long we're going to be here, so why not live life to the fullest like you have done?
Oh, yeah.
You just took advantage of every second and every opportunity, and you never look backward. The show's about goals, and it's also about perspective. You really have to put yourself in the right perspective of where you're at in life and where you're going, and man, you have defined that word.
Well, it's kind of with the rock choir. I always put on the website and that if you wanted to start a choir at any of your children's hospital, your local children's hospital out of state or whatever, that I would be more than happy to get you started. Because I am a volunteer. I'm not a professional music teacher or anything else. I do have music teachers that I can contact to help me and help kids, go up to that next level, which has been awesome to have. And so I send, like the CD and the words and lyrics and all that, and the DVDs that we've done to anybody that wants them. And so if they want to start a rock choir, this is a way to start it without having to use, all the popular music. Because again, I don't want anybody hurt or afraid. And there's no royalties for us or anything else involved. It's just, spread the word.
It's a beautiful thing you do.
Thank you.
Now, also, you with what you do, you're having a little fundraiser to help perpetuate this, and let's
Yes,
talk
we
about
are.
that. It's called the Pick a Guitar for a Cause. Now,
Yes.
tell us a little bit about that.
I came up with this a couple years ago. Of course, I play guitar. And I had a guitar that...
Thanks to Glenn Campbell.
Thanks to Glenn Campbell. I had a guitar that no longer had a positive soundboard. What it did was it was warped in the weather the one year we were singing at the Relay for Life. So it's useless. So I thought, well, what can I do with this guitar? So a friend of mine, Guy Shively in Austintown, he painted pinstripes
yes.
all over my guitar, which was really cool.
Way back to the Ohio Van days.
Ah,
on
there you go,
Mahogany
yeah.
Avenue. Wow. He's a tremendous talent. Man,
He
that guy's
is.
unbelievable what he does.
He is. So I got a couple guitars, and I said, this is what I want you to do with them. And so we made an autism guitar, we made a breast cancer guitar, we made a pets guitar for dog lovers and whatnot, and we made, of course, the pinstripes, and whatever he wanted to do, I just let him go. Then I got a hold of a couple different artists. They started stepping up and saying, hey, we'd like to do a guitar. And I said, absolutely. So we had all kinds of guitars that are just unique. We have one that has a picture of painted on there of John Lennon. We have some other ones that are just, some flower patterns and whatnot that are coming on. But then we get a guitar that's big auction money. Like last year was Bruce Springsteen and the Eagles. We had autographed guitars from them.
Wow.
And that's how we raise our money to do what we do, because we still take care of the kids and what they're going through. And then of course, I had breast cancer, so we take care of the breast cancer patients in the area and what they need and what, comfort
So
items.
the money that comes from this fundraiser goes to help out families?
Stays right here and goes out to help everybody right here. It doesn't get sent away.
So it's helping with medical bills or just?
Not so much medical bills, because I don't want to get involved in that. It's stuff that medical doesn't cover. Like, clothing that may need to be softer or a little bit more comfortable. Food, we're trying to get the right combinations of food that, taste good. Because one day something can taste well and the next day it doesn't. So you're like running through lots of groceries that are unnecessary, so to speak. But and it's different things like that. And then the kids' instruments, buying them instruments and getting them taught. And then I have friends of mine that can teach and do that, and so that they can become, proficient in an instrument. Whether it's just for a hobby or something more, that's fine. But it's how we raise our money to do what we do.
So when you started this foundation, and you set a goal to where it was going to be, do you ever think you'll attain that goal, or are you just going to keep working and working and working to make it better and better?
I think I'll keep working and working. You don't know how high you've reached until you turn around and look. And it's like, I'm afraid to turn around and look because I can see more places I need to be.
Got things in front of you got to conquer.
And there's a whole lot more that way. And there's more that needs to be done with, patients and kids and our work's not done. There's always something that needs completed.
How can people help out your organization?
They can help out. They can go online, and ourwaywithwordsfoundation.org is our website.
I cannot thank you enough for coming in and sharing your story with our audience. It's an incredible story, and you are, I don't want to repeat it, but you are an incredible woman, and thank you for everything you're doing for everybody in the Mahoning Valley.
I appreciate it.
That's going to do it, and we're going to be right back and end up 66 days right after this. And welcome back. I'm sure you found Brenda to be a very inspiring person. I know I did. That story is incredible. The obstacles that she had thrown in front of her with the breast cancer and the heart attacks, and how she overcame them with such a great attitude, and then just didn't quit and set goals for herself, and the Way with Words Foundation, and went after that, and the things she's doing to help out in our community. What an incredible woman. All I can say is I hope that you enjoyed that interview and you could be just like Brenda. I know I want to be. So you have a great month, and we're going to see you again real soon on 66 Days to Success.